You know when I can start.
Yeah, so we have VMLogix. So what do you do?
Nicholas, very nice to meet you. VMLogix is a virtual lab automation provider, and we help customers leverage virtualization to automate and consolidate their IT lab infrastructure. Now, there are a couple of things that we provide in terms of capabilities. One is to be able to dynamically provision virtual machines on multiple platforms, on VMware, Microsoft, and Citrix virtualization platforms. And in addition to that, to be able to not only bring up and tear down virtual machines, but also to be able to automate a lot of the previously manual steps that users would have to do once the virtual machines are up and running.
Can you show something on the screen?
Absolutely. Let me give you a quick demo. I'm going to log in as a test engineer and show you the capabilities that I would see as a test user. So the first thing that you can see is a workspace where you have active and running configurations here, and then you have saved snapshots here that can be shared with other users. Now, if you're running a configuration, you can easily VNC or RDP into the virtual machines to actually interact with them. You can save a snapshot of the configuration to your workspace, and as I mentioned, to share that snapshot with other users or with teams. And this is one of the key sort of value propositions of lab managers, that we support the ability for companies to create multiple users and teams and then share artifacts across those teams. So for example, here I can share this particular snapshot with my development team. I can specify what type of permissions users can have when accessing it. And I can also send an email link to a specific user so that by clicking on this link, we will actually provision that virtual machine configuration for them.
So is it like it's for administrators to use, right?
It is. There are two different roles that would be able to use this product. One is testers, developers, support engineers who would actually be using it as users, and then you have IT administrator. And let me show you what an IT administrator will see. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is the capabilities you have exposed as a regular user. And now I'm going to log out and log as an IT administrator, and you will see a lot more capabilities exposed here. And what controls that is the ability to define multiple different personas and roles for various users. So personas essentially define what users in various these persona roles would actually see when they're using Lab Manager. So for example, I can specify that an expert user will see everything, whereas a standard user is not going to be able to see a lot of the administrative, network, storage type of capabilities that are more IT infrastructure specific. One of the key differentiators for Lab Manager from VMLogix is actual automation capabilities that we provide. So let me show you the different uses of this automation. So here, let me show you a UI testing configuration. So here what we can do is bring up two different virtual machines. On the server, I bring up a Windows Server 2003, and on the client, I bring up Windows 2000 Server. And in addition to that, we can actually automate a lot of the previously manual steps that users have to go through. So we can do things like install software packages, run scripts, run commands, etc., etc. Let me show you, highlight actually a few of these capabilities. So one, for example, very useful one is saving a movie. So suppose a tester is doing a test run at night, comes in the morning and finds that there's a problem. What they're able to do is then, instead of looking at logs, they can play back the movie, share it with a developer, and let the developer reproduce that issue by only walking through the movie. So that's one application. Another good application of automation capabilities is for doing interaction testing. So, for example, let's say I'm a developer and I need to make sure that my product is compatible with other applications. So what I can do is I can install that product, I can install my test agent, and then I can create a snapshot. And then from then on, at that point, I can install another application, run my set of tests, and then roll back to the previous snapshot. And what that allows me to do is test multiple different code paths without creating multiple virtual machines, without creating multiple different configurations.
All right, so you call this Lab Manager?
We also call it Lab Manager. The name Lab Manager has actually existed since early 2000, when the product was actually still being built internally at our enterprise software company called Trilogy, where VMLogix was spun out of. And so definitely we were the first to use this name, but I think the capabilities that you see are much more geared towards development, test, and support.
Great. Thanks.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.